be stressing on the dumb shit, 'cause God is gonna make a way. Just keep going and keep your faith, so you can win this race. This race called life, yeah, yeah. This race called life. This race called life, yeah, yeah. Race called life. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm grinding 'cause I know that I'm gon' get it. I just gotta have vision, keep faith and be humble, and have some patience with it. I've been A1 since day one, and always on my job. I never been a fake, never had to steal and rob, 'cause I do good business, I'm too good with it. And even though I'm on this road, I'm still daddy to my children. You know I do good with them, and don't like being missing. But I hate when my bills are thicker and my pockets get thinner. But I can't stress up on the dumb shit, 'cause God is gonna make a way. I keep going and keep my faith in my pace, so I can win this race. Win this race called life. This race called life. I'm just trying to win this race called life. This race called life. Just trying to win this race called life. Yeah. Race called life. I'm just trying to win this race called life. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I keep on running in this race called life. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I won't come in last place in life. No, no. 'Cause I'm just trying to win this race called life. This race called life. Girl, I just gotta win this race called life. This race called life. Just gotta win this race called life.
Yo, yo. We in here. I'm back. Okay, doing a sound check real quick. It's been a minute. It's been about a good 3 or 4 months since y'all seen me. It's been about a good 3 or 4 months since y'all seen me on here. I'm back. Y'all know what we came to do, man. Peace to the family. Blessings to everybody. Rise and shine. You know, we up early. It's 9:30 in the morning. I was about to do this last night, but I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it last night. I just woke up, on a mission, get you guys this information. Um, we've been overcounting COVID deaths. This is something that was labeled a conspiracy theory, in the beginning of COVID, but conspiracy theorists are up like 10-0 on these guys right now. Mainstream media can't get anything right, it seems like, let alone the scientists. So, we not gonna hesitate. We gonna jump right on in. We about to jump right on in. Now, this is what makes me bring this stuff up. A few days ago, oops, that's the wrong slide. Hold on, let me get to the right slide. A few days ago, here we go. A few days ago, this was on CNN. Okay. Op-ed, U.S. overcounting COVID deaths and hospitalizations. Okay. And it was also on Fox News and in the Washington Post. So, I'm not just bringing this up to bring this up. This is new news for you guys. And in case you guys missed this, bam, I'm on their ass. I'm on their heels and I'm on your ass. You feel me? Let me see what y'all see. What's Hey, I'm still on the screen. Okay, let me make it big. Get this out of here. Doctor tells skeptical CNN host that COVID deaths are being overcounted. People need accurate reporting. Okay, now this was January 17th, 2023. So this was just a couple days ago that they were talking about COVID deaths being overcounted. Okay, now I know you guys may have heard of this in the beginning of COVID, but they're bringing the shit back up because it was actually going on the whole time. It's still going on, and we definitely need to do something about it. Okay. Let me go to the next slide. Ooh, I'm rusty. I ain't did this little podcast shit in a minute. You know what? Before I read this to you, I'm gonna go ahead and play the video so y'all can see exactly what she said. Y'all can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. You feel me? I'm gonna go ahead and let Wendy or Win speak for herself. You did. Okay.
Well, this is the reason why this kind of transparent reporting is going to be so important. There is a way for us to look at death certificates and also to look at the medical records of individuals prior to their death. And I think this needs to be separated into three categories. One is the COVID as a direct contributor, the primary cause of death. The second is, could it be a secondary contributing cause? So, for example, somebody with kidney disease, COVID then pushes them over the edge to have kidney failure. That's COVID as a contributing cause. And then the third is COVID as an incidental finding. So somebody coming in with a gunshot wound or a heart attack and they happen to test positive. I think that we need to separate out and look at the percentages of each. That percentage would have shifted over time as well. In the beginning, probably a lot more people were dying with the primary cause of COVID. That probably has shifted. And I think, again, we need to understand this. Another reason to understand this, too, is a lot of people are wondering when they should get a booster next. When do we need a second booster or another booster? And the only way we can know for sure is to understand who is getting severely ill and when.
That was CNN medical analyst Dr. Leana Wen, based Leana Wen, as I call her, singing a very different tune than you might remember. Dr. Wen, who's also a columnist for the Washington Post, recently wrote an op-ed for the paper hammering the point that the number of deaths reported as being caused by COVID far exceed the amount of people who are actually dying as a result of COVID infection. Also a columnist for the Washington Post, recently wrote an op-ed for the paper hammering the point that the number of deaths reported as being caused by COVID far exceed the amount of people who are actually dying as a result of COVID infection. Despite her 180, Wen previously was a staunch supporter of most, if not all, of the COVID rules, mandates, and restrictions, and she changed
Oh, my sound wasn't working. Okay, thank you for telling me. Somebody in the comments just told me on YouTube that my sound wasn't working. I'm back in here. Okay, what he was just saying was that. So let me play this one more time for you.
COVID far exceed the amount of people who are actually dying as a result of COVID infection. Despite her 180, Wen previously was a staunch supporter of most, if not all, of the COVID rules, mandates, and restrictions, and she changed her mind later. So her abrupt, about face is not being received well by some in the COVID skeptic community, and then also some who were in her community previously. She almost pleases no one by switching, although she's pleased me for.
Excuse me. And this is funny because when new facts come out, you're supposed to be able to change your perspective or your position. There's no way that new information comes out contrary or contradictory to what you've been told, and you should still have the same position. If that's happening, that's called cognitive dissonance. There's a little bit of cognitive dissonance at play, unless you're just not believing, the people who are telling you the bullshit. Now, let me play this for you too. Where is the video of this lady?
Clear in terms of the definition of people.
Now, this is from 2020. Okay, so this was 3 years ago.
I just want to be clear in terms of the definition of people dying of COVID. So the case definition is very simplistic. It means at the time of death, it was a COVID positive diagnosis. So that means that if you were in hospice and had already been given, a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as a COVID death. It means that even if you died,
Hear that? Let me bring that back.
if you were in hospice and had already been given, a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as a COVID death. It means that even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
Okay, and this is the director of the Department of Public Health for Chicago. Okay, this came out 3 years ago, but let me show you how they spin this 3 years ago. This is what they do 3 years ago. Okay, hold on, that's the wrong slide. 3 years ago, here's how they try to play it. Fauci debunks coronavirus death misinformation promoted by Trump. You see that? They try to blame it. They try to make it a Trump theory. Debunking the false claim that COVID death counts are inflated. President Trump and other conspiracy fantasists touted that the fake claim that COVID death counts are exaggerated, but 3 kinds of evidence point to more than 350,000 deaths. Okay, you see how they tried to make this a Trump conspiracy theory? Like, Trump didn't say that. I just showed you the director for the Department of Public Health saying that. Okay? Now, this article is from Public Health. A persistent falsehood has been circulating on social media. The number of COVID deaths is much lower than the official statistic, and therefore the danger of the disease has been overblown. In August, President Donald Trump retweeted a post claiming that only 6% of those reported deaths were actually from COVID-19. The tweet originated from a follower of the debunked conspiracy theory fantasy QAnon. So they're trying to make this a QAnon theory. You see how they try to divide the country? You see how they try to divide the country? And they try to make it seem like Trump is the one, dividing the country. No.
Every summer.
This was the
I just want to be
director of the
clear in
Department
terms of the definition of
Public
people dying of COVID. So the case definition is very simplistic. It means at the time of death, it was a COVID positive diagnosis. So that means that if you were in hospice and had.
And what's crazy is that 3 years ago, if you repeated this, they would take your page down. You would be deplatformed for this. You would have fact checkers all over your post, blocking your post if you were to repeat what the director of the Department of Public Health said to the public. The reason that they were lying back then was because they needed to scare you guys into getting the vaccination. They were using fear tactics, okay? And I'm going to let this play to the end so that way I want you guys to see something.
Already been given, a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as a COVID death. It means that even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
Every summer, I try to do a little extra reading Here's a few books I've read recently that you might enjoy.
How to Lie with Statistics.
How to Lie with Statistics. Now, did you see that book? Why would Bill Gates be reading this book? Okay. How to Lie with Statistics. And, ironic that the COVID numbers are inflated. And, Bill Gates is reading books like these. And it doesn't take a conspiracy theorist to put 2 and 2 together. And hey, honestly, I'd rather be a conspiracy theorist right now because the conspiracy theorists are winning. The conspiracy theorists are winning. We're like 10-0 right now. You feel me? Everything that we've come up with, we've been right on. We've been on the money. The conspiracy theorists are right about the vaccines. We're better off not taking the vaccine than the people who did take this experimental vaccine. But, YouTube will take my video down if I don't let you know that the COVID vaccines are safe and effective, and they do help prevent transmission and keep you from getting more severe diseases. So if I don't say that, they'll take this video down. So with that being said, let's get into the facts, though. You're better off having natural immunity, having gotten COVID, created natural antibodies, so that way you can fight it. You're in a better position than the person who took the vaccine. And we're going to get into the data from the scientists today. Don't believe anything I say. Like I say, always do your own research. And let's check this out. This is a little COVID-19 karma right here.
You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
This video right here is them lying to us. This is numerous politicians telling us that this vaccine prevents transmission and that if you take the vaccine, you won't get COVID. And then you'll turn around and see these same people getting COVID. So let's watch these people lie to our face, and let's watch karma come back and smack these motherfuckers.
You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Hey folks, guess you heard this morning I tested positive for COVID.
And when people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected.
Dr. Fauci says he has COVID again.
If you've done the right thing and gotten vaccinated, you deserve the freedom to be safe from COVID-19. And this morning, I learned I tested positive for COVID-19 as well.
Until all of us are part of widespread vaccine programs, no one is safe.
New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern has tested positive for COVID-19.
If you are vaccinated, you are protected. They are effective.
Vice President Kamala Harris has announced that she's tested positive for COVID-19.
With 3 doses that you'll be prevented not just from serious illness, but from getting this virus, this Omicron variant, and therefore giving it to others.
Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews is in quarantine for 7 days after testing positive to COVID.
So I'm fully vaccinated. It gives me some comfort. The fact that that's there, not for myself so much, but the people I'm coming into contact with.
Anthony Albanese has just tested positive for coronavirus.
Having received 2 doses of AstraZeneca, it's a very effective vaccine, protection from symptomatic illness and therefore risk of transmission to others.
It is great that companies have developed safe and effective vaccines. But we can't seem to make them quickly enough to stop the global spread that threatens all of us.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren just announcing she, in fact, has tested positive for COVID.
With the ongoing circulation of the COVID virus in our communities. If you're eligible, as of today, to get your 3rd dose, please do so.
Like so many other Victorians and Australians, those dreaded double lines came up.
So if we put a clamp on COVID-19 and prevent it from spreading from anyone, even if they have minimal symptoms.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau just tweeting out that he has tested positive for COVID. This would be the 2nd time the Prime Minister has tested positive.
You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Hey folks, guess you heard this morning I tested positive for COVID.
This video is funny, man. That's funny. So there you can see all of them, all the times that they, well, not all the times, but multiple times that these people told you that, hey, if you take the vaccine, you won't get the virus. That's not what the data said. And they knew that. So every time that a politician told you that, they were lying to you to lead you to getting an experimental vaccine. And, the proof's in the pudding. The data's out now. Pfizer and the rest of those people were forced to release their clinical trials and the data that they used to be able to put this vaccine out. They had to release that data. They tried to make you guys wait 75 years. The judge was like, you got the same amount of time that it took you to release the vaccine to go ahead and release that data. The clock starts now. So shout out to that judge. I'm going to do a podcast on that since I'm just getting back into the swing of things. You're going to see a couple podcasts on COVID because the tide has turned on YouTube and Twitter. Elon Musk bought Twitter. So now they're not deplatforming people for lying. He has the Twitter files coming out, which I'm going to do a show on that too, showing how the government was contacting Twitter, telling them what pages to take down and telling them what to censor. And it just sucks that you can't even think for yourself, that you're not allowed to disagree with them in any way, shape, or form, or, they would take your platform. And, that's where it comes into play that social media needs to be like a public utility. You know what I'm saying? They can't cut the KKK phone line off because they don't like what they saying. But they continue to do it to us daily. I've been in Facebook jail and YouTube jail for podcasts just like this, and we're gonna see what happens. We're gonna see what happens with this one. They had me talking in code in prior videos, but like I say, new facts have come out, so I should be able to say these things without being deplatformed. YouTube definitely still wants me to let you guys know, though, to keep adding context and let you know the vaccines are safe and effective, and that if you get them, they'll prevent major diseases. Yeah, if I don't say that, YouTube will take this video down. So let me go ahead and throw that in there. Let's get back into this, though. Back to the slideshow. Okay. I already read all of that. And then you see how the media divides the country again. Fauci rejects Fox News promoted theory that coronavirus deaths are inflated. This isn't a Fox News theory. I showed you the director of the Department of Public Health saying it. So, this is how they try to make it seem like anybody who thought that was a conspiracy theorist. These people got caught lying to the public, making them believe vaccines stop transmission. They tried to force mandates on the citizens off of that lie with doctor statistics and got caught. And they tried to hide the test data for 75 years and got denied by a judge and exposed. The only reason I'm able to talk to you guys like this right now about this is because the test data came out. So, it was time for them to stop lying. It was time for them to stop lying for sure. You already know. I don't know. I just had enough of the lies, man. And I'm the type of person, I could see right through that shit. And it's just funny. People hated Trump. You see how when they attach something to Trump, they get everybody to just go along with it without critically thinking. They said these were Trump conspiracy theories. So nobody listened to them. You feel me? You attach something to Trump, you're going to make everybody hate it in 2 seconds. These weren't Trump conspiracy theories. Again, let me play this video one more time for the people who didn't see it. No, wrong one. Where did she go?
And enjoy.
How to lie with
I just want to be clear in terms of the definition of people dying of COVID. So the case definition is very simplistic. It means at the time of death, it was a COVID positive diagnosis. So that means that if you were in hospice and had already been given, a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as a COVID death. It means that even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
Every summer, I try to do a little
So
extra
again,
reading. Here's a few books I've read recently that you might enjoy.
How to lie with statistics.
I just want to be.
You know, it don't take a scientist to figure out they were lying to you. You know what I'm saying? This shit is real simple, man. It's real simple. It's funny because they backtracking now. After all the mandates, after all the lies, what they're now doing is trying to act like we never said that the vaccines were going to stop transmission. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That's why you tried to force mandates. What is herd immunity? You need everybody to get vaccinated so that way the vaccine doesn't spread. These were the ideas that they were putting out. The shit's crazy. The shit's crazy. You know what? Let's go to this video.
Our Verify team is here to help you sort out fact from misinformation. And today, we're checking a claim President Biden made during his recent town hall about the COVID-19 vaccine and how effective it is. First, here's what the president said.
You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Social media lit up, and Troy wrote us to ask, I want to know if President Biden is spreading disinformation regarding COVID and the vaccine. I would be thrilled if these vaccines mean you won't get COVID.
Look, and you know what's crazy? Nobody put Biden in Facebook jail. Nobody took down Biden's Twitter page for spreading disinformation. Nobody took down Fauci's page. These people still have their accounts. A lot of these videos of them saying this stuff are still up online right now. That's how you know there's an agenda. That's how you know there's an agenda, because your post won't last 24 hours on there. My post or my video won't last 24 hours on there. If I'm spreading disinformation, let's go.
Does it mean that? Well, for answers, we turn to Thomas Dzinski at the IU Fairbanks School of Public Health, Brian Dixon with the Reagan Street Institute, a healthcare research organization, and the CDC. They all agree you can still get COVID even if you're fully vaccinated.
The vaccines were never designed to prevent you from being infected by COVID-19.
Breakthrough cases occur. No vaccine is 100% effective 100% of the time.
And on its web,
they were never designed to prevent you from getting the disease. Go back just a hair. Play that for the people in the back.
The vaccines were never designed to prevent you from being infected by COVID-19.
They were never designed to prevent you from getting it. You heard me? That's not what they do. That's not what they were designed to do. That's not what they do. We were misled. We were misled. Mandates, people lost their jobs. People lost their jobs over this. And there was people who stuck themselves and put themselves in harm's risk now to keep their jobs over this. You know? Let me let this finish out.
Breakthrough cases occur. No vaccine is 100% effective 100% of the time.
And on its website, the CDC says no vaccines are 100% effective at preventing illness in vaccinated people. There will be a small percentage of fully vaccinated people who still get sick, are hospitalized, or die from COVID-19. We checked what that looks like here in Indiana. The state says it has fully vaccinated more than 2.9 million people. Only very small percentages have been diagnosed with a breakthrough case, hospitalized, or died, just fractions of a percent.
People who have been vaccinated but then end up testing positive, they end up having very few symptoms, if any symptoms at all, and very, very few of them end up in the hospital.
That's the point President Biden was trying to make, according to his press secretary.
So they say.
He was asked about the statement the day after the town hall. And it's worth noting that at other points during the event, the president said the vaccine means you're not likely
That's not
to
actually
get
what the numbers
sick,
show. We're
which
going to get into the
experts
numbers.
agree with. But as for the comment Troy asked about, we can verify no, the vaccine will not prevent you from getting COVID. That is false. See something you want us to check out? Send us an email to verify@WTHR.com.
Yeah, I might have to send verify something. You know what I'm saying? I might have to get something verified. But yeah, as you see from that video, these shots were never designed to prevent transmission. They don't prevent transmission, and if you take the shots, you can still get hot sauce 19. You feel me? I'm still gonna talk in code. I don't like, you know. Excuse me, I'm rolling up over here. Rolling up another one. But yeah, if you take these shots, you can still get hot sauce 19.
Until early February, when I was in a meeting that experts at the foundation said there's no way, there's been too much travel without diagnosis for us to contain this. And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of
a fairly
like flu,
low
although a bit different
rate
than that.
Let me play that one more time. Then he said fairly, it's like close to the flu. There's a fairly low fatality rate for this. And they didn't know. This is what they're coming out and saying about the hot sauce 19 now. The audacity. The audacity of this guy.
It wasn't until early February when I was in a meeting that experts at the foundation said there's no way, there's been too much travel without diagnosis for us to contain this. And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that.
But they want us to give our kids shots. Why? Why do they want us to give our kids shots when this is a disease mainly of the elderly? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. We're going to go to some numbers now. Let me show you guys some numbers on this hot sauce 19. What's up, Diane? Haven't seen you in a minute. It's been a couple months. I'm back. I'm trying to stay consistent. I'm going to stay consistent. I took a little hiatus. You know what I'm saying? I had to do some spiritual work. I had to get my mind right, get my money up, and I'm back. Oh yeah, okay. We're going to these numbers. Let me stay focused. I'm over here rolling up, talking. Boom. If you get hot sauce 19, you have a 1% chance of dying, okay? These numbers come from the website worldometers.info. Okay, I screenshotted these. It says January 21st. You can get the live updates. I should just go live and show you guys how to navigate the website. Let me see. Versus showing you guys screenshots. I want to see what the actual numbers are today. Okay, but as of January 21st, there was a 1%. If you look to the closed cases to the right, there was a 1%. 1% of the people who contacted COVID passed away. So that means if you got hot sauce 19, you had a 99% chance of living. Okay. The closed cases which had an outcome, there are 101,893,748, 893 whatever cases had an outcome. Okay, there was that's billions. That's a big number. But yeah, as you see, there's a 1% death rate. This is what they never showed you. They never showed you how many people recovered. Look to the graph to the left. You see this green number down here? This is how many people survived. They never told you that how many people recovered that got it. Definitely look into Tucker Carlson on Fox News exposing. Yeah. What did he say? What did he say? What did I miss? And it's crazy. I'm not usually a fan of Tucker Carlson, but you know, even a broken clock is right at least 2 times a day. You know what I'm saying? He has some shit where he hits the nail right on the head. You know, actually, a lot more times than not lately. Probably should take this stream out afterwards. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna keep it up and see. And plus, I haven't been on here for a while, so I should have like, a couple. They got to give me a couple warnings before they just, block me. But remember, vaccines are safe and effective, and they do work at stopping to prevent major diseases. If I don't tell you that, they'll make me take this. They'll take this video down. So as long as I keep putting that in there, I should be okay. This is a test video to see if this shit actually works, because I did have a couple videos taken down just for reading like news articles about hot sauce 19. Like, I can't even read a news article to y'all. But I was making sure I was reading the good ones. I was reading the ones about people who had vaccine injuries and were getting paid. I was giving you guys information on the vaccine injury payout program. I was bringing information from overseas about people who had been injured and had got compensation. And I'm going to try to re-upload that video too. But keeping it moving. Okay, where was I at? I'm lost. So you said look up project. Okay, I'm about to look that up. That word looks familiar. Where have I read that? Okay, let me stay focused here. So yeah, if you got hot sauce 19, you had a 1% chance of dying. They were scaring the shit out of y'all, trying to get y'all to take this vax as fast as possible. They were trying to get you guys to make a decision in the blind without researching anything, without having any facts about it. Just trust them. And we already see that we can't trust them. We can't trust these people. Why do vaccinated people represent most hot sauce 19 deaths right now? This article from November 30th, 2022. Okay, because right now people who are who have the jibby jab, the vaccine. I'm just gonna say it. People who have the vaccine right now. This article says, well, not this article. The actual statistics from the CDC say they represent the most deaths right now. And let me read this. The share of, hold on one second. Okay. The share of hot sauce 19 deaths among those who are vaccinated has risen. In fall 2021, about 3 out of 10 adults dying from hot sauce 19 were vaccinated or boosted. But by January 2022, as we are shown in an analysis posted on the Peterson KFF Health System Tracker, about 4 in 10 deaths were vaccinated or boosted. By April 2022, the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC data shows that about 6 in 8 adults dying of COVID-19 were vaccinated or boosted. And that's remained true through at least August 2022. The most recent month of data shows. Okay, and let's see. I think I have the chart here for you guys to look at. Boom, got it. Okay, and if you start at the top of the chart, you see September 2021. 77% of the people who passed away from this were unvaccinated. Now, as we get down here to August 2022, you see that number down to 42%. So that means 58% of the people who are passing away currently, through the month of August at least, were vaccinated or boosted. So, the tide has turned, more vaccinated, and this is what they were talking about. More vaccinated than unvaccinated died from COVID-19 in August analysis. This is from November 29th. This is, getting vaccinated against hot sauce 19 is the best way to stay out of the hospital and to stay alive. And if I don't say that, YouTube will take this video down. According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and most medical experts, that hasn't changed. Wait, can you guys see me? Let me see. Let me switch screens. No, it's a full screen. Sorry. Let me bring myself on the screen. There we go. Okay. Where was I at? That hasn't changed. Further, the CDC encourages people to get the new bivalent vaccine against Omicron subvariants through uptake of that vaccine has been slow, with a little more than 11% of Americans getting it. Vaccination matters, even as it comes to light that more people who'd been vaccinated against hot sauce 19 died in August. And it's funny how they tried to still usher us to go ahead and get this, even in light of the recent statistics. I don't know. If you guys want to, if it works on you, cool. It doesn't work on me, though. Let me finish this little page. Vaccination matters, even as it comes to light that more people who've been vaccinated against hot sauce 19 died in August than those who had not been vaccinated, according to an analysis by Cynthia Cox, vice president for Kaiser Family Foundation. Cox undertook the analysis for the Health 202, which is published by the Washington Post. So the Washington Post published this analysis from, said Cynthia Cox, at the Kaiser Family Foundation, and the statistics are out, and it scares me because I have family members that, took this vaccine. And now we have to keep an eye out for adverse reactions and reoccurring signs of COVID. So everybody in my family who did get vaccinated has contacted COVID and had COVID again since their vaccination. The statistics show, the data actually shows that if you get the shot, you have a more likely chance of contracting it. This is what the Pfizer data showed, that if you get the shot, you have a more likely chance of contacting a more severe case of it when you get it again. Okay, the newspaper reports that 58% of coronavirus deaths in August occurred in people who'd been vaccinated against SARS-CoV-2. Experts stress that despite this finding, an individual's chance of dying from COVID-19 is much greater if they're unvaccinated. So, hey, even though the statistics say 58% of the people that died this month had been vaccinated, they say an individual's chances of dying from it are much greater if they're unvaccinated. I don't know. Well, the statistics don't really reflect that, but they have no problem printing it. The fact that more vaccinated people die from COVID than unvaccinated is partly because 80.7% of the population in the U.S. had at least one dose of vaccine, according to the CDC. Is that a misspelling? Actually, that would drive higher numbers of COVID fatalities among the vaccinated. In addition, COVID-19, why is there an R in there? Actually. Okay. That would drive higher numbers of COVID fatalities among the vaccinated. In addition, COVID-19 still preys mainly on individuals 65 and older, which is what I showed you that Bill Gates said is mainly a disease of the elderly, and there's a low fatality rate. So mainly a disease of the elderly. People 65 and older account for 16% of the total U.S. population, but 75% of all COVID deaths. And here's that context that YouTube wants me to add. Such individuals are more likely to suffer from comorbidities. I don't know what that word is. Let me look that word up real quick. I hate reading past a word and not knowing what it is. I can't do that. Comorbidity is a medical term that you may have heard your doctor use. It describes the existence of more than one disease or condition within your body at the same time. They are usually long-term or chronic. They may or may not interact with each other. And this is from WebMD. Okay. So the people, I get it now. Such individuals are more likely to suffer from. Okay. Well, that makes sense with what they were saying about them, the deaths being overcounted. The Post reports that another reason for the increase in fatalities among the vaccinated is that vaccines lose potency against the virus over time, and variants arise that are better able to resist the vaccines. So continued boosters are needed to continue to prevent illness and death. So as we create new vaccines, these viruses adapt, and it's just going to be an endless cycle of booster shots for you guys. Unless you guys just get your own immunity yet. Yeah, like I said, oh wow, I didn't even see all these comments over here. Yeah, like I said, I haven't been sick in years, so this isn't something I've had to deal with. And I didn't take a shot, you know. I stood against it. I stood against the fear mongering and the peer pressure. And I didn't take a shot, you know, and I'm still here. Okay, look up. Okay, I already got that. You see all the very young people that are instantly dying. Shit is crazy. I'm going to do a whole nother podcast on the adverse effects of this. Elon Musk came out Monday telling people how sick I'm doing. I'm going to do one specifically on Elon Musk. I want to make these their own little episodes. So even if it's only like a 30-minute podcast, you know, I'm going to read a little article about it and give some context. Yeah, I'm going to do one on Elon Musk sometime this week. Former NFL player Jesse Arnold just passed away at age 25. What? Wow, that's news right there. I'm going to have to look into that. Did he take the shot? Australian Olympic bobsledder and rugby player dies suddenly at age 35. What was his name? What was his name? Yeah, I'm going to look that up too. That's definitely interesting news. Definitely want to see what caused that. Okay, let's see what else I have on this slideshow here. I'll be putting these little slideshows together. Oh, PolitiFact. People vaccinated for COVID-19 do not spread the disease to anyone else. Joe Biden said this. Mostly false, PolitiFact says. So that was a lie. Lie detector test determined that was a lie. PolitiFact. As President Joe Biden heads towards his second year in office of leading the country through a pandemic, he faces the challenge of trying to convince millions of unvaccinated Americans to get the COVID-19 vaccine. The Republican National Committee said Biden has misled Americans about the effectiveness of the vaccine. The RNC tweeted a partial clip of an interview Biden gave to a Dayton, Ohio TV station that aired December 14th. I'll take extra offense to that because I'm from Ohio. You know, you're going to go to Ohio and lie to the people? That's what you're going to do? I don't like that. You feel me? I don't like that. Okay, let me keep reading. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, he says. Biden said in the full interview. Now, let me pause. I'm reading right here. He says it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. According to the slide that I just showed you, now it's a pandemic of the vaccinated. More vaccinated people are dying from hot sauce 19 than unvaccinated. So the statement that he made that day is no longer even true. It was a lie then, and it is definitely false now. It's definitely false now. You know, it's not a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Look at this. It could never be a pandemic of the unvaccinated at this point. Get your mind right, Joe. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold up. Can I hear shit? Check my sound. Make sure y'all can hear me. Okay, I ain't muted. Let me keep going. Let me check these comments while I'm here. 35-year-old middle school teacher, coach drops dead in front of his class after suffering heart attack. He definitely got the, because his wife showed his health record on it. I need names, baby, because I'm going to look these people up. His name is Jacob Sanchez of Bigfoot, Texas. Okay, I'm going to look him up. And that Olympic bobsledder, I'm sure I can find his name by myself. And I'm going to look up this Jacob guy, that teacher. I'm going to look up that Jacob guy. Yeah, it can never be a pandemic of the unvaccinated anymore. Because right here, starting from about the end, from Thanksgiving on, more people who were vaccinated started passing away. And until they release, until new data comes out and the statistics show otherwise, it's definitely a pandemic of the vaccinated now. So that statement is false. Okay, let me just keep going though. Let me quit nitpicking with what he's saying. This is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, Biden said in the full interview. The unvaccinated, not the vaccinated. The unvaccinated. That's the problem. Everybody talks about freedom and not to have a shot or have a test. Well, guess what? How about patriotism? How about making sure that you're vaccinated? So vaccinated is, he's equating your love for your country with vaccination. Do you see the psychological and mental games that they play on the people? Let me keep reading. How about patriotism? How about making sure that you're vaccinated so you do not spread the disease to anyone else? He says if you're vaccinated, so that's what let me pause. He's saying if you're vaccinated, you won't spread the disease to anyone else, which I already showed you was a lie. You see how the peer pressure works? You see how the lies work? You see how the misinformation works? And nobody's taking down Joe Biden's Twitter. Nobody's taking down his Facebook page. I comment on his Facebook page regularly and tell him how bad of a job he's doing. Yeah, me. You feel me? Really out here with it. You feel me? Yeah, I comment on his page. Ooh, hold on, let me be careful. I hit him up regularly to let him know how bad he's doing. You feel me? I ain't scared of you motherfuckers, like Bernie Mac said. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You feel me? Okay, Simon Dunn. That's the Australian guy. Appreciate you, Diane. I'm definitely gonna look him up. Let's see what this one says. Steven Spellman, age 18, died suddenly on Monday at his college in Arizona. Did he have the jibby jab? Gotta find out. Yeah, a lot of the young people are just, they're dropping like flies out here. All right, let me get to this presentation. We fact-checked a similar statement by Biden in October when he said people who were vaccinated for coronavirus cannot spread it to you. We found at the time that studies showed a vaccinated person was less likely to spread the virus, but the risk wasn't zero. We rated Biden's statement half true. Okay. That was before the Omicron variant was named a variant of concern by the World Health Organization. Let me go to the next slide. At the time, Tara C. Smith at Kent State University epidemiologist. Hey, she's from Kent. Okay, so they're on their Ohio shit today. If you pay attention, they're definitely on their Ohio shit today. He's giving a speech in Dayton. We've got Tara C. Smith, a Kent State University epidemiologist. She said that vaccination doesn't significantly reduce transmission. Oh, vaccination does significantly reduce transmission for vaccinated breakthrough cases, but does not completely eliminate it. A reader flagged Biden's more recent remarks and asked us to look at his statement. Now that Omicron has spread rapidly across the U.S. in December, we wanted to revisit the question: can vaccinated people spread COVID-19? We reached out again to experts to see if their understanding has changed about the role the vaccinated play in COVID-19's transmission. We found that there is not enough data on how many people caught COVID-19 from an unvaccinated person versus, of course, they're going to keep saying that. For the stuff they don't want you to know, they're going to say they don't have enough data on. For the stuff they trying to force down your throat, they're going to act like they have enough. I'm done with these people. I don't even want to keep reading this article. It's pissing me off. I screenshotted this. I don't even want to read it no more. I just got pissed. I just got pissed that they're able to lie to us like this. Yeah, I just want y'all to see what's going on now, man. The social media censors were wrong about. Okay, now I made this list. You got your account removed if you said it came from a Wuhan lab, which it did. So the conspiracy theorists were right about that. Let me bring myself on the screen bigger. Things the conspiracy theorists were right about. Do you go on Rumble? Sometimes if you my email address is astralvibetribe@gmail.com. So if you send me a link to anything, I'll watch it. I love Rumble. I barely check Rumble out though. People usually send me stuff on Rumble and I'll go watch the video and then I'll look up like, oh, this is Rumble. Okay. But Rumble is supposed to be like a YouTube for woke people, like a platform where, people aren't censored or something. Is that what Rumble is? If you look up Stu Peters, one done on January 23rd, the title is All Americans Now Trapped by Vax Status. Let me check that out. I do be having some free time on my hands late at night, so. Okay, the social media censors were right about. You had your account removed if you said it came from a Wuhan lab, or your video taken down, or your post taken down. Some people had their whole Twitter page removed for making posts about this. And they were wrong. You had your account removed if you said America used gain of function to engineer the virus in a Wuhan lab. That turned out to be true. Account removed if you said the vax had adverse effects. That also turns out to be true. The vaccine does have adverse effects. They are far and few in between, but we still need to be warned about all of the possible dangers. We don't need to be lied to about anything. Okay, you had your account removed if you said the deaths were being overcounted. And again, just from the articles today, I showed you that turned out to be true. You had your account removed if you talked about how people getting the vax were still getting COVID. You had your page, your post, or your stuff taken down if you talked about how vaccines cause COVID to mutate, creating an endless cycle of variants. But again, the vaccine is safe and effective, and it helps prevent you from getting major diseases. YouTube wants me to keep telling you that, or they'll take my video down. So let's keep this rolling. So the conspiracy theorists are like 10-0 over here. You know, and y'all didn't know what y'all was talking about, man. And it's funny watching y'all backtrack and still not want to be wrong. Boom, that's the end of the slideshow. Okay. Well, okay. Let me play this.
Just say before we do that, just as a personal plea from me, if you have been putting off being vaccinated for whatever reason,
Now this video is old.
don't agonize about it. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about that, and get you defensive about it.
This video is Rachel Maddow from when the coronavirus first hit.
Just make a fresh decision now. Take a fresh look at the issue now, looking at what's going on now. No matter why you have put it off in the past, no judgment. Now is the time to actually go do it. Because we really cannot afford you having to go to the hospital right now. If you're unvaccinated, you have a much higher chance of getting this newly transmissible variant we had never seen before a couple of weeks ago. And it's the unvaccinated people who it's going to make sick. And we really just cannot afford for you to have to go to the hospital right now. I mean, looking all around the country, depending on where you live, there's a very good chance there's no room for you in the hospital right now if you need to go. And if you can somehow get a bed
peer pressure
because you got COVID and you got sick from it because you weren't vaccinated, if you are able to get yourself into a bed, you're going to be filling a bed that somebody else really needs. So even if you didn't feel like you could do it before, even if you've been holding off for whatever reason, look at it freshly now. Now would be the time. Even if it wasn't okay for you before, it's okay for you to do it now. Honestly, your country needs you.
Wow.
And if you are vaccinated,
your
but you
country
haven't
needs
been
you. She compared it to patriotism the same way Joe Biden did. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like this fear mongering. I don't like this peer pressure. I don't like the misinformation she's spreading. And again, this video is still up. You know, she's spreading misinformation all over the place. Nobody's taking down her channel, her videos. You know what I'm saying? It's cool when the mainstream media lies to you and tries to scare the shit out of you. Yeah, exactly. Hey, yeah, I wanted to throw up over here, man. Just watching her try to pump fear into me. The shit is crazy. You know, nobody's taking her page down.
YouTube announced today that they will finally start taking down anti-vaccine misinformation videos. If you know people in your personal life or in your work life,
nobody's taking her page down. All that misinformation, she just spread it. Talking about she was one of the main people telling you to get the vaccine, that it stops transmission. And those videos are still up today. Yep, she's as stupid as she's getting that check. She's getting paid like $25,000 an episode. Can somebody look up how much she makes per episode, please? Somebody and drop it in the chat. Somebody in the chat, look up how much Rachel Maddow makes per episode. I would like to know how much she makes to come on here and scare the bejesus out of you guys and push government propaganda. And this is why I have a TV. You know, this is why I have a channel. And this is why, you know, my channel be jumping. Because you can't get good news when you turn on the TV anymore. You know they're lying to you. All I'm going to do is just come on here and point out when they lie to you. So whenever you see me doing government videos or videos on Hot Sauce 19, it's me showing you like, hey, caught him in another lie. Boom, boom, caught him lying again. Let me look this girl up. How much does Rachel Maddow make per episode? Wow. Wow. Well, she makes 20 million in annual salary. And this is an article from this past July. So from NBC, she rakes in 20 million annually to get on here and lie to you guys and drop government propaganda. Yeah. Yeah, you know, and nobody's offered me a check yet. So that's why I'm on here telling the truth. You know, if they offered me 20 million a year to lie to you guys, you know, I might have a show too. You might see me take a show too. They say I got the voice for it. MSNBC, what's up, baby? Hit me up. You know what I'm saying? If I can smoke, even better. If I can smoke on the show, even better. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it for half. Fuck it. Her net worth is 90 million. She's one rich, lying little. I'll tell you that.
Life or at school or whatever.
All right, let me start this over.
YouTube announced today that they will finally start taking down anti-vaccine misinformation videos.
They ain't take her shit down
If
yet,
you
though.
know
They need
people
to.
in your personal life or in your work life or at school or whatever who have crazy misconceptions about vaccines or who believe just wildly untrue things about vaccines, anecdotally, at least what I have found in my own life, is that those beliefs, even among smart people, even among otherwise reasonable people, are almost always trace backable to stuff they saw on YouTube, to a single thing they saw on YouTube. And then because they watched that.
So she said that most COVID misinformation comes from something people saw on YouTube. This is where I got your videos from. So I guess she's not lying. She's not lying there. Because this is where I found her videos telling us that the vaccine stops transmission and that you need to get the vaccine to keep your neighbors safe and your loved ones safe. So she's the number one culprit. More like smart people don't watch mainstream news. Yep. And it's almost like what Denzel said in Training Day. He's like, you know, I'm read this. You know, I know most of it's bullshit, but I still read it because it's entertaining. You know, and if you know how to read between the lines, you know how to look at these articles and really dissect what's going on, you know. So I may read the newspaper and read the article about Ukraine, but I know what's going on in Ukraine. So I see when the propaganda's there, or I see when somebody's writing it from a Western standpoint, as if the Russians are the bullies or they're the ones who are instigating this whole situation when they're not. You know, when we threw a coup, well, I'm not even gonna get into all of that. I'm not even gonna get into all of that. Let me stay focused over here. That's a whole nother podcast. I'm not gonna get into coups and Ukraine and Russia right now. Yeah, sometimes I indulge just to see where the propaganda's at. Because you have to see what you have to see what you're up against. You have to see where the mind of the sheep is, and we know that this is what they're watching, and this is what their brain is filled with. So I just watch it to see where they're getting their arguments from, and to it just helps me better dissect them sometimes. But you're right, you know. But if you don't watch the news, you're not informed, you know. And if you watch the news, you're misinformed. So, but you got to know this shit's crazy. So you can't win for losing. No, I'm not on Discord. I need to get on Discord. Um, I've heard other people mention it, but I don't even know what it really is. Is it a platform where I can get paid? Is that what it is? I need to get my followers up. So please share this, pass this shit like a good bag of dope. Screenshot some your favorite parts of this shit and share it. Screen record, share little clips on Twitter, YouTube, all that. You know, help me get this little shit going. I'm gonna play this guy
Till
again.
early February, when I was in a meeting, that experts at the foundation said, there's no way, there's been too much travel without diagnosis for us to contain this. And then at that point, we didn't really understand the fatality rate. We didn't understand that it's a fairly low fatality rate and that it's a disease mainly of the elderly, kind of like flu is, although a bit different than that.
So yeah, I can't stand this beady-eyed lying motherfucker. Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. You know, I'm gonna get a sweater vest and a motherfucking button up. You know, you put on a sweater vest and a button up, and people instantly trust you and think you're intelligent. Remember, Bill Gates, not a medical doctor, no degrees, no medical experience. Somehow he's the leading scientist on vaccines, and you know, make it make sense. I can send you so much information. I can't. Okay, I'm going to get on Discord today, and I'll figure that out. Make sure you hit that Cash App up. Make sure you hit that like button if you in here. Hit that like button. Hit that Cash App up though. $ Astro Vibe Tribe. Accepted donations, baby. I'm about to play another video for y'all. I was gonna do a whole podcast on this video itself, but I'll play another video of somebody lying to you.
We knew at the beginning of COVID to what we know today. What do we know about the vaccine today that we didn't know while we were all testing it in America, taking it?
And I believe this guy's name is Michael David. I hope I'm getting it right. Check his podcast out. Let me go ahead and make sure I give him a shout out off top. That's the guy who's speaking right here. And then shout him out for daring to push back against, you know, Neil Tyson, whatever his name is, DeGrasse. Neil Tyson DeGrasse, whatever his name is. Look, y'all know who I'm talking about. Shout out him for daring to push back against him. And you know we have a problem when you have astrophysicists throwing their arms up in the air, upset. You know, you know they're not making sense if they have to do all that to try to get their point across. So let's get into this.
From what we knew at the beginning of COVID to what we know today, what do we know about the vaccine today that we didn't know while we were all testing it in America, taking it? What have we learned now?
What do you mean testing it on America? There were tests before it was released.
9 months is not a long time to test.
No, but it was tested.
Yeah, but 9 months, the average is 30. The average is 5 to 10 years. I mean, 9 months is not enough.
Okay, so you have to say,
test.
No, you have to ask. Hold on. It was tested in trials. Okay. By the way, I'm not claiming to be the expert on all this. I read all the same things you have, but I'm a scientist, so I read it as a scientist. Okay. There were trials. That's what the point of phase 1, 2, 3 trials are all about. They are tested enough to get data on how to then advise the larger population. Yes, it was tested. For you to say it wasn't tested is a gap between your awareness and understanding how things work and what actually happened.
That's
it was
not
tested.
what he said. He said, well, for 9 months, that's not a lot of testing. That's actually what he said. He never said it wasn't tested. Now you're getting upset, making claims, arguing against claims that he never made in an attempt to seem like you know what the hell you talking about. Let me go back here.
Okay. By the way, I'm not claiming to be.
From what we knew at the beginning of COVID to what we know today, what do we know about the vaccine today that we didn't know while we were all testing it in America, taking it? What have we learned now?
What do you mean testing it on America? There were tests before it was released.
9 months is not a long time to test.
No, but it was tested.
Yeah, but 9 months, the average is 30. The average is 5 to 10 years. I mean, 9 months is not enough.
Okay, so you have to say,
test.
No, you have to ask. Hold on. It was tested in trials. Okay. By the way, I'm not claiming to be the expert on all this.
He said 9 months is not a long
but I'm
time.
a scientist, so I read it as a scientist. Okay. There were trials. That's what the point of phase 1, 2, 3 trials are all about. They are tested enough to get data on how to then advise the larger population. Yes, it was tested. For you to say it wasn't tested is a gap between your awareness and understanding how things work and what actually happened.
Yes, it was tested. And they tried to hide those results. A group of Yale, Princeton, and Harvard professors who wanted to help with the progression and check data on the vaccine production actually had to sue the vaccine makers to get the data. Pfizer and them told him, hey, it's going to take us 75 years to get this data ready for you guys. The judge said, hell no, y'all got the same amount of time that it took y'all to release the vaccine to release that data. So he gave him like 180 days from that date to get the data to these people. And yeah, the data doesn't reflect what the mainstream media's narrative of what the vaccines were supposed to do. They didn't want people to see the adverse effects. They didn't want people to see that it didn't stop transmission, because that was the headline. Get this, keep your neighbors safe, protect your loved ones. I showed you 20 times on here. So, they tried to hide the shit.
Was tested. If you want it to be tested on millions of people instead of thousands, you can put in for that. You can say, I don't want this unless it's millions. That's okay.
Totally fine with me.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine. But so based on that, do you say, let's keep testing it while the virus keeps spreading? Okay? Right. So this is the contest between the information you have available to you at that moment and what's going on outside the lab. People are dying. Hospitals are becoming overloaded. So, do you say we have good data on the 1,000? It's not yet at 1 million, in case you wanted 1 million. Are you going to say, let's still do it on another, let's wait another 6 months so we get another 1 million in here? Will you do that as a public health professional?
No, I would have said, allow the individual to still have a choice that's okay with 1,000 instead of a few million. Leave the person have the choice. Not force him to take it or else you're going to get out of the Marines, and you've been doing this for 14 years. Not force him to take it or else you have to quit your job as a nurse.
There's a public health
force versus
there's a
choice.
There's a public health contract that you have signed implicitly as a citizen of a country where in part we depend on each other for health, our wealth, our security, and the like. And that contract is, in the best scientific evidence available at the time, if you do not get vaccinated, you will put other people in this organization at risk, and that organization does not want to take that risk. So
more lies.
You do not.
Caught him lying. You hear him lying right there? If you don't get this vaccine, you're putting other people at risk. People are going to die because of you. Well, guess what? These vaccines don't prevent transmission, and they were never designed to. Already, do we have to jump back here to verify?
Are not going to get COVID if you have it.
And Troy wrote us to ask, I want to know if President, well, for answers, and the CDC, they all agree you can still get COVID even if you're fully vaccinated.
So you heard it from them, from Verify. You can still get COVID even if you're fully vaccinated, and you can still spread it with the vaccination. So this whole social contract that Neil Tice deGrasse, whatever the heck his name is, I ain't putting no respect on his name.
Not have this job anymore if you decline it. You will put other people in this organization at risk, and that organization does. And that contract is, in the best scientific evidence available at the time, if you do not get vaccinated, you will put.
And that's the thing. People would be like, well, that was the best scientific evidence available at the time. You wouldn't know, because they censored anybody who had anything different to say than them. So you wouldn't know if that was the best scientific evidence available. We had Dr. Robert Malone, the creator of the mRNA technology, speaking out against this vaccine. They took him down. They took Dr. Shiva down. They took numerous people who were credentialed virologists, a bunch of different virologists. They took their pages down for them speaking out against this experimental shot. And, and here he is, Neil Tice deGrasse, and I'm just showing you him lying to you guys and fear-mongering and pushing government propaganda and peer pressuring people. And, he's upset right now. He's not upset. he's ashamed right now because he has to look back like, damn, I was wrong. They released the data. I was wrong about this shit.
Other people in this organization at risk, and that organization does not want to take that risk. So you do not have this job anymore if you decline it. So with any public health decision, there has to be a consequence to you not participating in that social contract. Is it your job? In some cases it was. But no, we're not going to have the army bust into your home and force a needle into your shoulder. That's not going to happen.
They were
We
trying
pretty much
to.
did that.
Well, only put your job at risk, yes.
Yeah, 67% of Americans took the COVID. That's force. That's not a choice. That's a lot of force and coercing and pushing going on. But
that's the you can't go to the school unless you're vaccinated against mumps.
I think that's bullshit. If you
That's
ask
a different country.
Yeah, but
okay, would you want a country?
No, America is supposed to be the one that offers the most freedom. That's what America is supposed to be.
Okay, so watch.
So for example, if you use that argument, somebody may say, well, freedom of choice. I want to choose what I want to do with the body. You're right.
What body?
If you want to get an abortion, it's your choice.
Your own body. Your own body.
If you want to get an abortion, get an abortion. If I want to get the vaccine, I get to choose. So you can't force. If I can't force you to get an abortion, you shouldn't be able to force me to get
it's not about you. It's about people you interact with, and that's the social contract of public health.
We don't even know if the vaccine worked or not at the time.
Yes, that's what the trials are, dude. That's why these trials. Are you missing data out there?
But let me.
No, see, he was the one who was missing data. Let me bring myself up big on the screen. He was the one who was missing the data. He was missing data that this vaccine doesn't prevent transmission. So you getting it doesn't protect anybody. The fuck are you talking about? He has to take this one on the chin though. And he ended up taking a bunch of his comments down that off of Twitter. He went back on his Twitter and took a bunch of his COVID comments down because he was wrong. You know what I'm saying? He's embarrassed. Let me
ask you a question. Are we saying only one type of scientists are right?
No, we're saying that the system in place.
The 16,000 that signed that.
No. The system in place to test vaccines. Yeah. There's an entire system that's in place. That with review boards and all of it.
Yeah, and the average.
That's it.
How dare you challenge the system? That's what he over here like. Oh shit. He over here on his Uncle Ruckus. How dare you challenge the system shit. Hold on 1 second. Gotta drop my phone. Yeah, like my shit. Okay, where was that? All right, let me let this play. Yeah, caught lying. How dare you challenge the system? He over here saw these motherfuckers challenging the system. And he got to take this one on the chin because this is... Now we can't trust you because you was wrong about all of this shit, bruh. You was wrong about all of this shit.
In place. Now you can say, what you can say is, I have a better idea than all these review boards and all these agencies and the CDC. I have a better idea. Here's what you should do. And that would have made everything better. Okay, you can put forth that idea. But what I'm saying is, in a case where you can contaminate someone else, it's not about you. It's about the collective
You're assuming
health.
You're assuming because somebody can take the vaccine, won't get COVID, which, by the way, I don't need to play the clips for you to see it, where everybody said, hey, if you get it, you're not going to get, if you take the vaccine, you're not going to get a Rachel Maddow, Joe Biden. I can give you Fauci. I can give you, and you've seen these clips before.
Yep, you've seen the clips because I just showed y'all a bunch of them. Young OG, the messenger in the building. What's up with you? How you feeling today, man? Peace and blessings to you, man. Yeah, man, caught these people lying, man, spreading misinformation. You know, Neil Tice deGrasse, whatever his name is, you feel me, that went back and took down a bunch of his old tweets about hot sauce 19 because he was wrong. You know, the data actually came out. They don't prevent transmission, but YouTube will take my video down if I don't tell you that vaccines are safe and effective and they will stop you from getting major diseases. So make sure you take them. So there go your little ad. So leave my video up, y'all. But yeah, we caught these motherfuckers lying, man. Yeah, people been having heart attacks from the jibby jab. Somebody in medical told me that it's getting crazy out here. It's getting wild. It's getting wild. It's getting really, really, really wild, man. Now let me jump to this presentation. This was an old presentation that I did. They actually took this down. Let's see if they leave this up. Damn, I didn't full screen it. Hold on one second. It is full screen. I was gonna say I'm having technical difficulties, but I'm not. Everything's working smooth for the king. Okay. Was this page 1 of this? Yes, it was. Okay. BC man among first Canadians approved for hot sauce 19 jibby jab injury payout. Okay. This was from June 1st, 2022. So this is from the summer. This is from the summer. Okay, y'all. This was from the summer. In the year since he became partially paralyzed, Ross Reitman has kept his focus on small victories, from getting up the stairs unassisted to going for a solo walk near his rural BC home. Okay, so this guy got paralyzed, and this is him with his 2 kids next to him in this picture. Like this is sad. You know what I'm saying? 1 of 10 people hospitalized with Goldman-Barrère syndrome within 30 days of the jibby jab. So, yeah. In the year since he became partially paralyzed, Ross Reitman kept his small victories. Okay. But the biggest win came in the form of an email from Canada's jibby jab. Canada's Vaccine Injury Support Program, VISP, that confirms something he says he knew all along, that his condition was likely caused by the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine. That was quite vindicating, Reitman said from his Lake County home in the Okanagan Valley. Okanagan, however you pronounce that. I think I did all right. And it's funny. I don't know if AstraZeneca was AstraZeneca. Did they release that here? I know in America most people took Pfizer, Johnson and Johnson, or Moderna. So I don't, know if anybody here had to really worry about that. It's funny that he's in Lake County. Okay. To have it in hand, in paper, acknowledging it has been vindicating. Reitman was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré syndrome, GBS, a rare condition that affects the nervous system, just days after his first and only dose of the vaccine. The condition can cause paralysis, muscle weakness, and even death. And shout out him for getting his check. And this article was from British Columbia. Oh, no, CBC News. So this article is from CBC News. John Hernandez wrote this article. This is from June 1st, 2022. So if anybody wants to go look that up, in this article, they also released, they showed the letter that he got. You know what I'm saying? Dang, he looks messed up. Yeah, and the shit is real. The shit is real. I'm not going to get too much into this. But I just wanted to show y'all that. And yeah, shit's getting real out here. People is really dropping like flies, man. My best advice to you guys is, I'm going to tell you, if I don't tell you guys to go and get the vaccine, that they're safe and effective, and they keep you from getting major diseases, YouTube will take my video down. But my advice to you guys is to go back to nature, to get as healthy as possible. I've been eating bullshit too, but I've still been drinking smoothies, working out. as a way to keep my immune system up. Working out helps keep your immune system up. You get your heart rate up, you sweat, that helps you detox, as well as lower your cholesterol, blood pressure. Cardio. So keeping your cardio is good. Helps fight cardiovascular disease. This isn't a health podcast, but and
Here
again,
in terms of the definition of people dying of COVID. So the case definition is very simplistic.
when
It
she
means
told you this, she
at the
wasn't
time
lying.
of death, it was a COVID positive diagnosis. So that means that if you were in hospice and had already been given, a few weeks to live, and then you also were found to have COVID, that would be counted as a COVID death. It means that technically, even if you died of a clear alternate cause, but you had COVID at the same time, it's still listed as a COVID death. So everyone who's listed as a COVID death doesn't mean that that was the cause of the death, but they had COVID at the time of death. I hope that's helpful.
Every summer, I try to do a little extra reading. Here's a few books I've read recently that you might enjoy.
How to Lie with Statistics.
Yep. When she told you that, the deaths were being overcounted, she wasn't lying. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Love you guys. Check me out later. Appreciate everybody dropping their comments. You know what I'm saying? Diane, Young OG, the messenger. I got some other comments on my other medium. I gotta look them up. I can't wait till this streaming platform lets me go live from Instagram too, because I got an Instagram page. You can look me up on Instagram at Astro Projections 369. Check me out on Instagram. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're on the YouTube. Hit my YouTube up. Please hit my YouTube up. Astro Projections 369 on YouTube. You feel me? Let's get it. Have a good day, y'all. Stay blessed. Oh, wait. I used to have a saying. What was my saying? Nobody can be you better than you. Nobody can be you better than you. So don't be out here trying to be somebody else. There's power in your uniqueness. So always be yourself. And always walk in the room like God sent you there. Love you guys. Have a good day. Take it easy.